Today is a very, very sad day because today is the day that we have to say goodbye to most of our vegetables.
So what's been going on in the well, Missy?
Not a lot. I mean, it's all going to be sad, isn't it? This has got teeny beans on. Turns out that 10,000 litres is not enough storage to get you through the month of August. Oh, look at that. That's pathetic. What else can we do to make our little living area even more lovely and cosy and winter prepared? So what have you been doing this week?
So, got me a bit of polycarbon and I decided to carry on the theme of the pallet cupboards along the bottom to match the kitchen. So I'm going to show you what I've done there. It's all quite exciting.
Yep.
And then here, a couple of cupboards.
And I'm feeling a lot better about it now. I was very sad.
Morning, morning.
Hello.
And welcome back to the Wildlands, our little slice of off-grid paradise. So a couple of weeks ago we did a video game over, and it really is game over for us tonight. So we're going to tell you what's gone wrong and what our solutions are going forward, and we also do some more work on the kitchen and the shade house. So lots to show you tonight. In July 2021, with the increase in travel restrictions caused by Brexit and the pandemic, we decided to buy off-grid land in Portugal to live a more sustainable lifestyle.
Follow along with our journey as we turn our beautiful but derelict land into our very own slice of off-grid heaven. Wildlands.
It's a beautiful day today and we're sat down at the well at the bottom of the Wildlands.
That's your clue as to what's coming up.
So what's been going on in the well, Missy?
Not a lot. The water table has dropped. It's been very hot. There's been no rain. So the well is done for this year. There's no movement in the water. There's no water coming in. There's about that much water in the bottom. We've obviously not been able to pump any up. So we've been running out of the water that we had stocked up at the top. Turns out that 10,000 litres is not enough storage to get you through the month of August.
Yeah.
So next year we're going to need more water storage. You can come along into the garden with me and find out what I'm going to do about all of that. Today is a very, very sad day because today is the day that we have to say goodbye to most of our vegetables. As you know, we've been trying really hard to get water out of our well, to get it cleaned, to try and maximise the amount of space in there that's full of water so we can pump it up to sort the garden out. And the water table has just dropped so far that we're not actually able to get more than maybe 100 litres every 3 days out of it, which is not enough. We have about 2,000, maybe 3,000 litres left in our IBCs, and we will keep taking out the little bits that we can from the well, but until it rains we want to make that water stretch as far as possible. And what that means is that instead of trying to water everything and keep it all just about alive, limping along, and then having it all die in a couple of weeks, we're going to cull everything that's not perennial, basically. All of the trees, we've got fruit trees and nut trees, we're going to keep watering them little bit. They don't need lots and they don't need it every day, but the vegetables, they're all going to go. So the beans and the cabbages and the tomatoes and everything, because we can just sow more. We can sow more next year. It'll be fine. We might even be able to sow some of the cabbages and things like that to keep us going through the winter. We might be able to sow them in the autumn once we've had some rain. But for now, I'm going to take you around the garden while I choose who's going to die today. It's so sad. So first up the bat is the dwarf purple French beans. It's sad because there's a teeny bean there. I mean, it's all going to be sad, isn't it? This has got teeny beans on, but there's just no point watering them constantly until they've got, a handful of beans on. So they're the first. This will all go on the compost. Bye-bye. Let's get all of these. I've lost my secateurs, so I'm making do with kitchen scissors. There. Okay, so this one actually had lots of little baby beans on, but never mind. Never mind. You can go. That was a pepper that didn't do very well. This is a basil, and this won't be going to waste. Won't be going in the compost. I'm going to attempt to, hang on. Oh, I think that's the cinnamon basil, which we actually don't like the taste of, but it might be nice when it's dried. So I'm going to dry these in our oven. We'll give this one a twist. Twist, twist, twist. There we go. I'm trying to leave as many roots in the ground as possible, but that one wasn't having any of it. So yeah, cinnamon basil is pungent. And that's a keeping pile. This little one, this is a Cavolo Nero, my absolute favourite type of kale. I might eat these, or I might give them to the chickens. So let's put him on the keep pile for now. Another basil. This one's just basil. Ooh, otherwise known as Genovese. Fabulous, that's going on the keep pile too. This tomato looks like it's covered in tomatoes. Well, it is, but they're all sort of shriveled and a bit manky, so I'm not at all sad about losing this. The chickens can have the manky tomatoes and the compost can have the rest. This one's lemon basil, which I absolutely adore. It's gotten really well established actually. So we've got more cinnamon basil, more lemon basil. We'll dry all of these. Flowers over here, I'm going to cut those down and then we're going to hang them upside down and dry them too because they make nice cut flowers. This guy's going, the dill's going, more beautiful beans. They've gotten really, really tall and they've got baby beans on them. Sad. Mind. Corn is slightly less sad because the cobs didn't get a chance to develop. They haven't developed at all because, oh look at that, that's pathetic. Baby corn cobs, because the silk's all dried up and got crisped in the sun and the pollen all got crisped in the sun, so we weren't going to have corn anyway. So we just yanked them up.
So you might remember that we were using between 500 and 1,000 litres of water per day. Before our first pump stopped working, we could pump 1,000 litres an hour. We then replaced that with a bigger pump, thanks to my mum, and we were getting 1,000 litres in under 5 minutes, so all was good. But at that point, it was all protracted because the sun had been relentless. We were already starting to run low on water, and then by the time we resolved all our pump problems, as you probably remember, we have no water. So if you remember the well video, there was a couple of springs and the water level is now, as Missy said, has dropped and it's now below the spring entry point of the well, so there's no water coming in, so it's game over for water at the wildlands. However, the upside is, as with anything, we've never lived off-grid. We're learning as we go. It is all a learning curve, as they say, isn't it?
Yep.
So everything that goes wrong, for want of a better phrase, is really just information to help us try and come up with a solution for the next year or for a future year. So the solution is, if we assume that this drought or dry winters continue going forward, we need to have enough water storage to get us through 2 or 3 months. So that's the learning curve. So how we store 20 or 30,000 litres of water is another story, but we'll come back to that at a later date.
We've also built ourselves a lovely kitchen, and moving on from that, you got a bit overexcited, didn't you? And you thought, kitchen's not enough, what else can we do to make our little living area even more lovely and cozy and winter prepared? So what have you been doing this week?
Again, it goes a lot on from what I was saying earlier about learning and being prepared. So when we first arrived, and we've been here a couple of months, one of the first things we built was what we call the shade house, which you've all seen many times, and it has had a few upgrades of small size as we go, but essentially it was basically a structure with a roof, and in the winter with a log burner under the roof we could stay dry and warm.
That was a massive game changer just by itself, because it's better than
massive.
having to hide in the van every time it rained. You could sit still outside, and the log burner was fabulous, but we couldn't have had that during a rainy day, and it's kept the sun off.
Yeah. So again, we've been using the shade house for a year now, a little bit less because we didn't build it when we moved in, but learning from last year, at the back, which faces the IBCs, when it rained heavily, the water was bouncing off the top of the IBCs and then coming inside to the shade house. And then also with both the left and right side where we were sitting being exposed, either the wind and or the rain was getting in one or other or both sides. So I've upgraded the shade house. So the left side, which did have an unattractive tarp over it, which was supposed to be temporary, we put it up for Christmas, and then it was still up until last week.
Yep.
That's come down, and I've panelled it in, and I decided to carry on the theme of the pallet cupboards along the bottom to match the kitchen. So I'm going to show you what I've done there. It's all quite exciting.
Yep.
So, got me a bit of polycarb in, so I'm going to drill some holes, screw this on, and then I'm going to put a bit of wood around it, make it look a bit nicer. Get the second one on down there. So it's early in the morning, nice and cool. We've actually got some rain forecast for tonight. Can't see it myself. Sky is gloriously blue, but it'd be nice to get some rain, get a bit of water on the land. It's about 3 months since it's rained, and being English, you would not know that one day you'd be going, oh, I wish it would rain. That's the polycarb windows up, and that'll stop the rain coming in this way, which was a problem last winter. And then the tree on there is coming down, and this tarp here we put up, Martin and I, before last Christmas, ready for our Christmas party. It was meant to be temporary, and as always it's stayed up, so that's coming down now, and it's time to pretty up this end. So I've used my pocket hole jig again. If you remember, this is that funny drill bit, so thick at this end, tiny on that end. And when you drill through, you get the pocket bit here, and then this bit where the screw goes. So on this smaller wood, I've just got one pocket hole either end. I'm going to screw this here. Doesn't matter that it's one either end, because it's only the framework for the wood that's going to go on the front, which will then make it all very strong. But I'm going to have to use a spirit level, so it's going to be a challenge. So we want it probably level with the counter. Wood is very bent, nothing unusual there, but it's flat. And then the next thing is here, or facing this way, is going to be our fridge up to here, big one. So I'm going to measure out 600mm from here, and then here a couple of cupboards. So they're going to be false cupboards. They're going to have doors, but the back is not going to have any cupboard structure. So what I'm going to do, I mentioned it in the previous video, so from above here is going to be panelled in the same cheap panelling that we used on the back of the kitchen and on the floor of the kitchen. Then we're going to paint it the mahogany colour to match, so that'll all match in. And then down below it's all going to be framed in pallets, so it matches the kitchen. And then a tiny little shelf on the top here, so it's going to look nice. And then we'll paint it all to match the kitchen. It's like an extension of the kitchen. The fridge is then right near to the solar. It's well under the roof, so it'll stay dry. And then the tarp that I took off here, we're going to cut to size and staple to the back of the new panelling all the way down to the floor with an overhang, so that it can go out over like that. And then we're going to put crates behind the cupboard doors, sideways on, so kind of like false cupboards, and then the tarp over the crates to try and keep the worst of the rain out. But we'll store tin goods here, so it doesn't really matter too much. So I'm going to frame this in now. There we go, all panelled, straightened it back out. It is bowed in the middle, but that's not down to my spirit level, it's down to naff wood. But this is very cheap, does a good job. So the next job, which I'm not doing now, is to stain it varnish brown, the mahogany brown like this bit here. So do that another day, and then we're going to have crates along the back as I mentioned earlier, so I've got to make the slats for that, which is my next job. So not a bad job. And I think this is a little bit wobbly because it's only attached either end, so I think on the outside I'm going to put a thick piece of wood down that marries up with one of the uprights here when I've got those in, just to give that a bit of extra strength. And yeah, very pleased with that. So with the windows on as well, and then also got to put the tarp on the back to seal it in, but I'll do that after the crates have gone in the bottom. Probably haven't got a clue what I'm talking about with the crates. So these are the crates, which you've probably seen in our videos before, which are vintage Portuguese food crates. So I'm going to put 3 on top of each other, 3 wide. So these will be kind of, if you imagine 3 on top of each other, you can just about see the top of one there. And then a door on the front, so they're going to be like 3 lots of shelves. So had a few protracted days with shopping and various other trips, but I've been working on the shade house and the kitchen for many days. So as you will have seen, all the panelling is on, that needs varnishing. Put a shelf up here, made a big mess in the shade house as we've had to move everything around to do the work. So what we've done here is I've put crates in behind these slots, which we were going to put doors on, but I quite like the crates. The crates are antique crates, which some of them we got off Alan and some of them we got off Mickey, and the ones we got off Mickey, one of them was dated 1921, so 100 years old. So they've been our shelves. We were using the crates before for storing food, and now they're obviously behind there. Currently you can see the sunlight coming in here. They're exposed to the elements, so on the other side behind here we're going to rainproof that.
It's been about a week since the last bit that you just watched, and I'm feeling a lot better about it now. I was very sad when I was pulling up all of our plants, watching what I felt was all our hard work and effort going into growing them ending, but I've remembered that everything comes in cycles and circles, and it's not the end of gardening, it's just the end for this season. And as soon as the rains come, we'll plant more seeds, we'll grow more vegetables. There'll be a whole nother summer next year, and the year after that, plenty of time to get it right. Also, our successes this year, as well as having eaten lots of the fruit and vegetables that we've grown, we've established our trees, we've established our asparagus beds, and they're going to keep giving for years and years and years. We've had a lot of fun, and we've also learned a lot about what to grow where and what doesn't do so well. So I'm not sad anymore. I think we've done a really, really good job. We've also saved a lot of seeds from things that we've grown this year. So from one packet of seeds, we might have sown 20 plants. So I've got the rest of that packet, but also those 20 plants, a couple of them went to seeds. So now I have 50 more seeds. I hope you liked having a little look around the garden, even though it was a little bit sad. Don't feel too sad, there's always more to come. And just for now, let me take you and show you our almond tree. If you follow us on Instagram, you'll know how excited I was that the almond tree was so covered in blossom in the spring. It smelt amazing. And then I think we had 4 or 5 almonds set fruit. A couple of them have dropped off. Come and see what it's doing now. These are the almonds. And if you look, the outside green casing has dried and they've split open by themselves on the tree. And look at that. A beautiful, perfect little almond. So excited. And isn't it wonderful that there are 3? 1 each.
So the kitchen's kind of nearly done, lots of varnishing to do and more jobs as well, which we're carrying on at the moment.
Oh my goodness, our jobs list is just, because we're also sorting out those parking spaces and, oh, I've forgotten what else we've got. I've written a jobs list, it's about 5 miles long, but thankfully I can't think of too many things. It's all varnishing and stuff like that, isn't it?
It is.
It's preparing for winter because, oh my goodness, the weather report this week says that not only are temperatures dropping, no more 40-degree days, yay. In fact, nothing higher than 31 degrees in our immediate future. And next week, we're supposed to have 2 days of rain. 2 days of rain!
No.
We're going to be outside in our pants, running around going, yeah!
Who said anything about pants?
I did.
And also you remember from our jobs video that we put out a few weeks ago, Missy mentioned a minute ago, getting our parking spaces ready. So we've been getting ready the longer term park up at the entry to the land because we've got Simon coming to stay with us next week. So we've started clearing that. So let's show you what we've been doing there. We had an olive tree to cut down, which was partially dead. So let's have a look and see what's going on our park up. So I'm in our secret olive grove, which is just on the entrance to our land on the right hand side. And if you remember from a couple of weeks ago when we shared with you all our plans that we had on the wildlands, this is going to be a private park up for longer staying people. And we have Simon coming to stay with us in a couple of weeks, and he's coming in a tent, so he's going to be staying up here. So we're going to clear this entrance so that you can get a motorhome, van, car in here, and then going down to where the green bushes are over there, there'll be a park up, and we're going to wood chip it all. And this diseased olive tree, which is in the middle of the olive grove, has to come out sadly because it's blocking the access, but it is dead. It's got a few leaves on one side, but we'll reuse the wood so she won't go to waste. So I've got to chainsaw that out so that a vehicle can get in here, and then we've got to clear it all, get the wood chip down. Missy's confident it'll only take a day, but I think it might take a lot longer, but we'll see. So first job is to get this poor old dead tree out and carry on with the clearing. You can see Missy's already started, but quite a lot to do. Wunderbar! So that's a branch down, and then I'm going to take it the other way. It's quite hard work because olive's quite hard, and then I've only got my little battery powered chainsaw. And it's also worth pointing out things that you may not be aware of in Portugal. We've got a massive drought, there's been lots of fires, so we're not allowed to use things like chainsaws after 11 in the morning until after dusk for the fire risk. Missy's just gone to get some water just in case, because there was a bit of smoke coming off the bark. Better safe than sorry. It's quite warm, and I've got about an hour to get this one out before the 11 o'clock. No using of chainsaw curfew. So it's past 11 now, so I can't use the chainsaw no more. So out the chainsaw, gone over to a saw, which is hard work because it's getting very hot. We're supposed to be cooler today, and by cool I mean 30, 32, which is still obviously roasty toasty, but it's absolutely boiling. Not sure if it's all the manual labour. Normally at this time of the day we go down the lake, but really want to get this cleared as we have people staying soon, and then it's another job ticked off. The quicker this is done, the quicker I can get back onto the kitchen. So let me see how I get on. We're about halfway through, but it's quite hard work. If it suddenly goes, I'm going to go poof.
It's not going to suddenly go, I'm not getting anywhere.
So that's it for this area today, as it's just got too hot, but you can see we've got the partially dead olive down, and we've trimmed a lot of the other bushes. Missy did a lot of clearing on the floor, so we'll come back here tomorrow and carry on. But this area here is clear for Simon's tent. Just got to do a little bit more levelling, get the wood chip down, clear the entrance a bit, and then we're going to carry on going this way so that in this flat bit here we can fit a van, and then the plan is to put a hammock up over here and a bench, make it all nice for visitors. So we'll see you back here at this bit tomorrow. So last bit to do on the inside part of the kitchen. Just got to get this varnished. Then I'm going to put a support on the back because it's a little bit wobbly. And then the last jobs to do is behind the crates. Got to seal that in, make it waterproof. Now it's on to varnishing. Varnished, hooks have gone on. The gap here, I might have mentioned earlier, is for a built-in fridge. It's been measured, so the slots in there. And then round the back, I can show you where I put the tarp on, which covers the whole of this all the way down to the floor. And where the food is now got a double layer to protect it from the elements. And you can see where I put the polycarb windows up. The bamboo fencing has gone back over the 4 IBCs, so those of you that are new to the channel, we collect 4,000 litres of water in here off our gutter, which you can see is a little bit rickety and melted. And here you can see our top, keep the water off. So it's double layered all the way up and covering the food, and then here this one was a bit short, but the food one goes out over the ground, over the breeze blocks, all been weighted down, all been screwed on with rubber backed bolts. So that'll stop the wood behind there getting wet. It's under the roof, so it'll just run off and go down the back there. So job done, off-grid style. So a few other things in the last couple of videos. Quite a few people made a few comments about the kitchen build, and one of the comments, other than it's absolutely amazing and it's beautiful, thank you very much, I must say I'm really pleased with it. It does look,
it's gorgeous.
It's certainly pucker.
And we used it every single day since you built it, since it was finished. We've washed up, we cook every day, it's great.
And we had probably about 20 people saying, but what are you going to do when it rains?
You better put a roof on it.
And the answer is we have planned out the roof and costed the roof, and basically the roof is going to stretch out over the whole kitchen and our triangular table, and half the roof is going to be a tin roof and the other half is just going to be shade material for next summer. The downside is that we've run out of money again.
Yes.
So we can't afford our roof, even though it's only going to cost us about 300 euros. So we're very skint at the moment. So the roof's going to have to wait. So hopefully we can afford that before the rainy season. But if we can't, then we'll have to go old school and just cover the whole kitchen with a tarp on the rainy days or weeks, and then open it back up when it stops raining.
Do the job for now. It's just how it is when your money comes in bits and bobs, running events. Every time there's an event, we get some money, and then weeks and weeks after the last event, there is less money. just how it is.
Yep. And then the other thing is a lot of people, we mentioned our new solar system that we're doing on a budget. A lot of people have asked us what the spec is going to be, and that's a very long answer. So we'll make a separate video or a separate segment in a future video. Missy does all the electrics, so as she installs it, she'll talk you through what we got, why we got it, how you do it.
It's super exciting, that too. I like all my little gadgety bits, and I had to go out and buy myself some new bits to install it. So I have this massive pair of wire cutters. They're about this long, great big choppers, and I had to buy a new mallet so that I can bash the crimp ends on and stuff. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that one.
Yeah, it's going to be very exciting.
Yeah.
So all our solar's arrived now, isn't it, give or take?
Almost. We're waiting on our panels, our MPPT controller, and our shunt.
So as soon as that's all arrived, going to get that going.
Yes.
So I'm kind of working a bit like a nutter to try and get everything finished so that when all the solar has arrived, it's ready to go in, and then that'll be a project finished for now, which is very exciting. So as always, thanks very much for watching.
Thank you to all of our new patrons. We greatly appreciate your patronage, and we're doing our best to put stuff on there. It's new, so it's another thing on our sort of to-do list. So you've got lots of sneak peeks of the kitchen build, and we're going to try and get some on-the-scenes footage, aren't we?
Yep.
And keep popping stuff on Patreon, so thank you very much for
So
those.
it's a great way to support us and get early access and see some extra footage and some little sneak peeks and stuff that we don't include on the videos.
Yep. And thank you to everyone that's bought us coffees. They're also much appreciated. And thanks just for watching. Even if you can't afford to support us, but you watch all our videos, maybe you watch the adverts at the start of the video, that's also really appreciated. It's lovely to have this support of all these complete strangers out there on the internet. It's really nice, isn't it?
It's lovely. And also, another thank you. So in the last 28 days or so, maybe slightly longer, the channel has seen a lot of growth. We've had 700 new subscribers join us in the last 4 weeks.
Lovely.
So welcome to you guys to the channel, and thanks very much for you for supporting us going forward. So yeah, it's all good.
Don't get put off by our waffling. It's not all waffle.
Well, it's a lot of waffle. So give us a like, and if you haven't subscribed, please do subscribe. Helps the channel and be much appreciated.
And don't get too sad by the video content, because it's all fine. It's all fine. There are sad bits, there are happy bits.
Always.
Stuff dies, stuff grows again. It's all good.
And soon we'll be in the new planting season.
Yeah.
And we're going to put new shade up and more trees and bamboos to create shade for next year. So that's another thing that's very exciting. So it's all good.
Thanks again for watching, and we'll see you again soon.
Ciao.
Bye.
Is that all right?